get up again. Get up again. You can get up again.
Hola mi gente, welcome to my kitchen. It is so awesome and amazing to be here with you guys today. I just finished recording my message for tomorrow Sunday, and it could be because of quarantine we're not able to have a service, but we're still doing it via Facebook. But just kind of wanted to come quickly just to speak a little bit about the fact that I am a pastor. And so I know before I see it in the comments, because I used to have a channel before and people used to say all the time that women should not be pastors. And I understand that the Bible does say that women should not lead, but it also says that that men and women are equal. So but just to go further into that, where do I start? So this is going to get a little personal, and I just want you to know that I hold no grudges against anybody. It's just simply my story. So if I talk about it, it's just me kind of giving you more details. So I married a man who comes from a line of pastors. His grandpa was a pastor, his father was a pastor, and he was also going to be a pastor. He was also a pastor. So when I met him, I was absolutely happy, because I always knew since I was young that I wanted to serve God with all my heart. And I knew that someday I was going to. I was just waiting for the day where I was going to serve God. And so when I married him, I was so excited. We were going to a church that we loved so much, and just abruptly that church ended. Really long story, really unfortunate story. So that is when, because it ended, a lot of brothers and sisters from that church did not want to attend other churches. So they started to think maybe we should just have services. Let's just get together, while we don't know what happened, because that other church, it was such a lively, awesome church, and everybody loved each other, and it was just so awesome. But something really, really bad happened, and it was closed down. And we didn't know anything about it. It had nothing to do with us. It had something to do with the higher ups. And it closed. And so that's how it started. And then the brothers and the sisters were like, okay, this is awesome, and they knew that my ex-husband had gone to seminary. At that time, I had already started seminary too. But I didn't want it to be like a pastor or a preacher. I was going to Bible college. I just really wanted to be more helpful in my church, because I was already I'd started off being a children's teacher, and then I became a youth pastor. And then so I just really wanted to be better for that church that I love so much. But anyways, it ended, and from there, my ex-husband, he's now my ex-husband, he was a preacher, because he was the only one that was educated, and so he was giving the word, and that's kind of how it came to be. And that was awesome, and that was exciting, and I was so happy to be the pastor's wife. And I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from my ex-husband. I learned decorum. I just learned a lot from him. But he knew a lot of the rules, and he knew how to make things go smoothly and be really good, if you know what I mean. He knew how to conduct and how to run a church in a sense. But he was so young. He was in his early 20s. He hadn't lived a lot, and Satan or sin or temptation got to him. And throughout our marriage, he was unfaithful many times. And many times he was unfaithful. And, you know, he was unfaithful so many times, and I would always take him back, you know, because not only that, like, he was unfaithful and he would leave. He would leave, and I wouldn't see him for months. And I would take him back, you know, and at this point, like, I wouldn't tell anybody why he left. So it was really hard, and I was left to run the church. Like, I wasn't the pastor. I was just the pastor's wife, but, you know, I had to, like, if he wasn't there, you know, I'd just stay, and I was running the church. And finally, and, you know, I learned about like 50 women. Like, it sounds like an exaggerated number, but I was counting them last time, and it was like 50 ladies that I found out about. And finally, close to our 6th year of marriage, you know, he kept doing it. And not only would he cheat on me, but then he would treat me really bad. Like, he was really mean to me. He would cry. I mean, I would cry because of the way he treated me. Like, I was trying my best. Like, he would be there lying down, and I would come to him and, you know, ask him, hey, can I get you some ice cream, or would you like an apple? Or, you know, I was trying to treat him good, and he would be mean to me. And I would feel, you know, that there was a separation between us, and I would go and I would, like, try to, you know, lay on his shoulder, and he would, like, nudge me away. And one of those times, you know, I was just really heartbroken, and I went crying to the living room. And I had gone to him, and he, like, pushed me away. Because before that, like, if he was in the living room, I would go to the living room with him, and he would get up and he would go to the bedroom. And if he was in the bedroom, I would go with him to the bedroom, and he would get up and then go to the living room. It's like he didn't want to be with me anymore. So I was just crying before God, and like, how much more of this do I need to take? You know, because even with everything that he would do to me, like, I would always pray to God that he wouldn't leave me, because I mean, I was in ministry, and I didn't want to have that reputation of a divorce. So then finally I found out again that he was unfaithful, and at that point, you know, he said he was leaving again. And I said, the only thing that came out of my mouth is, because usually I would beg him to stay. Like, I honestly had no pride, and I would beg him to stay. And I said, you know what? You can leave. I'm not going to stop you. If you want to leave, you're going to leave. But this will be the last time you leave me, because honestly, he had left me like 4 or 5 times. Like, in our almost 6 year of marriage, like, he had left like 4 or 5 times. And he would leave for months. And I said, you're not going to be able to come back this time. And, you know, he didn't leave right away. He left like within 3 or 4 days, but he took everything. He sold his truck. He emptied our bank account, and he took my car, and he left Texas, where we lived, and he moved to Kansas. He had family over there, and he moved to Kansas, and I haven't seen him since. And he was trying to come back like 2 or 3 months later, like clockwork. And I told him, no, I told you that you couldn't come back. Now my heart has forgiven him. I still love him, you know, as a person. But I didn't want to be hurt in that way anymore. So many people say, well, you know, women should not be pastors. That was not my idea, honestly. I wanted to be a pastor's wife. But it's like a single mother, you know, or, you know, a lot of the time, of course, a 2-parent family is way better. I'm not going to deny that. I grew up with 2 parents, and my younger sisters didn't. And you can tell the difference. You know, they went through so much more than I did. But, you know, some people cannot help it. You know, like maybe they lost their husbands, maybe their husbands abandoned them, and now they have to be, that single mom that stays by herself, raising her family. That wasn't her plan, but that's what she had to do, because it's so much easier to do things with a partner, with a husband. And that's kind of where I am. It's not that I set out to be a woman pastor, to defy anything. It's that, the Lord put me in this ministry. And after my ex-husband left, I just kept going on. It's kind of like Deborah, when Barak didn't want to go to war, and he wouldn't go if she didn't go, and she's like, okay, that's fine, but women are going to take the glory. And it's sort of like that. It wasn't that I wanted to, is that a man stepped down, so the woman just rose up. So that is my story, and how I became a pastor, how I became the senior pastor. But it honestly was a gift from God, something that God has showed me my whole life that I was going to be. I've had my whole life people come to me for advice. I've had people come to me to write them letters because they like the way I express myself. I know that the gift of word has been from God. So I just wanted to share a little bit of my story. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave me a comment. I know my battery's been telling me that my phone is gonna die anytime soon, but I don't have any subscribers yet. So if you're watching this video, subscribe and like this video. I would so appreciate it. And thank you for watching Life as I Know It, the Noemi Chronicles.